everybody, and welcome to Drinking and Driving. Dick here. This is the only podcast where it is acceptable to drink and drive, but of course, leave the driving to the professional race car drivers. But in this case, we'll leave the drinking to the professional drinkers. So stay tuned, and we'll go over Texas Motor Speedway on this glorious Sunday special. And what could make it even better is Masters Sunday with Tiger Woods playing. That's right, we have Tiger Woods in Sunday red for the first time in a while. It is awesome to see him out here after a huge hiatus after a couple surgeries. He tried to get out a couple weeks ago and had to withdraw, wasn't ready for the big leagues. But even though he has no shot at winning this tournament at the Masters, it is awesome to see him in his Sunday red playing the fourth round at the Masters and just being able to finish it. And he's off to a blistering start today. He parred the first hole, birdied the second hole, went bogey 3, parred 4. So I mean, he's even on the day, but it's just, again, nice to see him out there. Maybe he could, put together 4 good rounds in the near future. Hopefully add another major, get another major under his belt. But this is the NASCAR podcast, so enough with golf, at least for now. We'll check back in on Tiger in a little bit. But Texas this week, we don't have Tex on the pod. He is in bigger and better places right now. He's not dead. But we'll have you hear what he has to say about his week this week when he comes back next week. But yeah, let's dip our toes into this week at Texas. We have the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400. Man, titles of these races are just so long. It takes like a solid 5 minutes just to say it. But let's look at the qualifiers. We have Kyle Larson leading it with the pole. Tyron Gibbs in second. Chris Bell, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Martin Truex, and Bubba Wallace round out the top 10. As you can see here, the Toyotas are definitely leading the fastest laps here. But you see Ford in there, Chase Briscoe. He's been qualifying really well this year, and he can't really string together a whole race yet, but I don't know, maybe this can be the week. But again, you see the Toyotas, just a better car, week in, week out. Not much more to say about that, and it's nice to see Ty Gibbs back up there. Finally, we got a medium track. We got 1.5 miles this week, 267 laps, the 400 miler. And yeah, Texas, where it is bigger and better things. Last year, William Byron won. And with the Hendrick boys taking top 3, 1, 2, 3 last week, we might see a charge with the Hendrick boys again. Maybe even William Byron sitting at 6 right now in qualifying. And Kyle Larson with the pole. And you can see that in the books. Kyle Larson, the superior favorite at plus 250 to win the race. That's just not enough price for me to even sniff betting on him. I mean, that's just way too high for me. But you see William Byron at plus 700. I might put a little dough on him. I think he is the best Hendrick guy out there right now. And if you get him 3 times the price as Larson, I mean, why not take a shot on him? And with that being said, Chase Elliott at plus 2,500 to win the race. Again, with that same logic, why not? The top 3 finishes last week, they're all pretty close to each other. So, I mean, take a shot on Chase Elliott and get that price with the Hendricks. Maybe there's a crash up front. Willie B and Kyle Larson gets into it. And then you see Chase Elliott with the next best Hendrick, fighting for that win and maybe competing to finally get a coveted win that he hasn't had in the past couple years. And I think everybody's itching to see Chase Elliott get that win. I'm just scrolling through here on the prices to see if anything sticks out to me. I see Ryan Blaney at plus 1,200. don't know, Bubba Wallace plus 1200 as well. I see Bubba has been putting together some races. Last week, a top 10. I haven't seen enough in him yet this year to think that he's going to win this race. But maybe in the near future, it looks like his year is turning around, and maybe he could put together a full race and get a win. I just don't see it yet, so plus 1200 is a little steep for me. Just scrolling down, looking at the bottom of the list here. See Josh Berry at plus 20,000. I mean, I obviously don't see him winning. But Eric Jones plus 10,000. With the Toyotas being so strong as they are, Eric Jones consistently puts up decent races. I don't think he could get a win here. Just a little young. But I think if you could get something, we'll look at the top 10s in a bit, but I think you could get a good price on him for a top 10. And with the Toyotas as dominant as they are, I don't think that's a bad bet at all. And especially for your fantasy lineups, he's definitely a good pick if you don't want to waste some picks on some of the top tier guys. Eric Jones has been putting together racking up some good points in fantasy as well. Chase Briscoe with a top 5 qualifier. He's been qualifying really good, like I said early in the pod, plus 8,000 to win the race. I don't know, he's qualifying really well. He just has to put together a good race, and like I said, why not? Why not this race? Maybe you see something in him this week, and you just bet a little money on him, and that turns a big profit. All right, let's go look at some head-to-heads. See Tyler Reddick versus Ryan Blaney. Reddick minus 245. I don't know, Reddick, I feel like he should be better than he is in the past couple races. He has been, I see some top 10s in the past couple races, but it just doesn't look like he's racing as good as he can. His potential is definitely up there. I'm not sure why he's not getting the top 5s, the top 3s, and even competing for the win. There's just something wrong there that I just can't touch upon. Ryan Blaney plus 180. Ryan Blaney has been showing some pretty good speed for a Ford. I'm really against the Fords, as you may, in the past couple pods, I've been against the Fords. But Ryan Blaney has strung together a couple good races. Him and Logano finally showed up last weekend. And so, Blaney plus 180 against Reddick, I might pull trigger on that one. Okay, let's go down. Chase Briscoe, I've been high on him too, versus Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, disappointing race. If you see the Hendrick boys top 3 and then Bowman outside, not in the top 4, only Hendrick, president, is disappointed in that. But if you see all 4 of them in the top 10 last week, you cannot be disappointed as a fan. Bowman is minus 280 to beat Chase Briscoe. Can he follow up that good race with a better performance this week? We'll see. I like Chase Briscoe here, 205, plus 205, to beat Alex Bowman. And I just think that qualifying, he is ready. It's about to show. He's about to burst through the scene, get a good top 10 here. Chase Briscoe, look out for him this week. And Kyle Busch, I'm still off him. I'm looking at a lot of matchups with Kyle Busch. He has not been showing up at all year. I don't know. I'm against him. He hasn't shown me anything to, be looking at him to, put together a good race and be a top 10 car. So, like I said, I'm on Chase Briscoe. Him versus Kyle Busch. Briscoe is plus 185. Kyle Busch is minus 250 to win that matchup. It's not enough for me to bet at Kyle Busch here. So Chase Briscoe, why not pull trigger on him? This is Dick Pick 1. I pulled trigger on this bet. So Chase Briscoe to beat Kyle Busch at plus 185. I highly suggest this one. Briscoe's looking fast. Kyle Busch can't finish a race. So even if Briscoe can all he needs is a top 20 finish, Kyle Busch is starting in the back. Couldn't complete a qualifying lap, so he started near the back end of the pack in this race. So Just in qualifying, Briscoe has a huge lead here. Briscoe versus Logano. I like Logano showed up last week, finally. Maybe he's ready to get back into the season. I'm staying away from this one. Logano versus Briscoe. Logano minus 400. I just don't know. Logano's a wild card. I think he's ready to get back into it, but I am a little hesitant, so I'm going to stay far away from this one. Let's see here. Kyle Busch versus Ty Gibbs. This isn't enough price for me to pull trigger on Ty Gibbs. He's at minus 250. Kyle Busch at plus 185. Obviously, I think Ty Gibbs is the top 5 car this week, especially qualifying at 2. Kyle Busch in back of the pack. Let's see here. I would like to, if the price was better, I would definitely pull trig on Ty Gibbs, but it's just not enough for me to warrant a profit here. Chase Elliott versus Ross Chastain. This is pretty much even money on both sides. I'm going to stay away from that one. I don't know. I really want Chase Elliott to succeed here, but Ross Chastain has been coming through the scene in the past couple races, so I want to say Chase Elliott here at even money. Probably leaning toward Chase Elliott, but it will stay off my card at least for now. Now this is an interesting one. Denny Hamlin, William Byron. Byron at minus 125, Denny Hamlin at minus 105. Man, William Byron's just a fast car. Denny Hamlin's a fast car too. I don't know which one to pick here. I'm obviously staying away, but I think this is a really cool matchup, and I would love to see how this race ends for the both of them. But if you look at the next head-to-head, you have Hamlin versus Larson, and this one is much different of a price, which I think Kyle Larson and William Byron are pretty much the same racer. You could just swap them back and forth. And I don't know why this price is so different. You have Denny Hamlin to beat Kyle Larson at plus 175. Kyle Larson to beat Denny Hamlin at minus 240. I would think this would be more similar to the Willie B and Denny Hamlin price at minus 105 and minus 125. Pretty much even. So I don't know if there's some mix up with the books. I mean, Kyle Larson did qualify pole, obviously, but then William Byron is in the top 10 qualifying as well. I mean, Kyle Larson has shown as a dominant car, but as we've seen early in the season, people who finish pole doesn't necessarily show up in the actual race. I don't know if they get too comfortable with their cars, they're not tuning in as much, whereas if you see people in the back of the pack, maybe lower in the top 10, lower top 20 cars, they're still, tuning their car up, see what Kyle Larson did, maybe see some better improvements in the car where they could see show up better. So, I don't know, Kyle Larson, Hendrick boys, I'm sure they have their car at 100% where they want to be. But, like I said, other cars are always going to try to improve as well. So maybe they found something that Kyle Larson did well, and maybe they found a little, golden nugget somewhere that might make their car even better. So I'm going to stay away from that one. If anything, lean Denny Hamlin, because why ever count Denny Hamlin out? And yeah, so that's a good price on Denny Hamlin there. I mean, I've been hating on Kyle Busch, but I should say he did win the Truck Series race Friday night. So if that tells you anything, I don't really see much in it. Maybe he'll have a better finish, just more practice and everything. But if you look at his past finishes at Texas, he hasn't shown great performance. He finished last year 34th place after starting 7. 2 years ago, finishing 36 after starting 18. And then finishing 21 after winning pole 3 races ago. So that's all I have on Kyle Busch. And again, he hasn't shown me anything this year. I mean, he could barely even finish a race as far as I'm concerned. Which brings me to my next dick pick, number 2, Daniel Suarez head-to-head versus Kyle Busch. I don't necessarily like either of them this race. However, I mean, Suarez already has that win this year, so he's shown something. He's shown he can win a race, which is awesome to see. I do like Daniel Suarez as a person, as a racer. He's at plus 185 to beat Kyle Busch here. Kyle Busch is minus 250 to win that. I think Kyle Busch's price is just so inflated, probably for winning just the Truck Series there. But if you look at Daniel Suarez's last 3 races at Texas, he has 3 top 12 finishes. In 2022, he started 23, finished 5. September of 2022, he started 10, finished 12. And then last year in September, he started 8th and also finished 8th. So he has 3 top 12 finishes. I like that odds, especially just looking at those 3 recent races, much better than Kyle Busch here. And yeah, let's see. I forget off the top of my head where Daniel Suarez qualified, but yeah, Kyle is in the back of the pack. Daniel Suarez qualified 17. So yeah, I'm thinking Suarez will probably finish around 17, but I think that'll be enough to beat Kyle Busch to warrant him off. So dick pick number 2, take Daniel Suarez at the plus 185 number. I really like that bet. And I'm just looking so hard into qualifying positions because at this track, even though it's an intermediate track, it is one of the tougher tracks to pass on. And I mean, if you look at a Kyle Busch starting at the back, it's going to be hard to pass this many cars and finish it in a top 10. So even though I think Kyle Busch can be a top 20 car, it'll just be a tough day for him if he can do it. Chastain said something, when he gets a pass done on this track, he sometimes physically celebrates in his car. That's how hard it is to actually get a pass. And you can see the drivers actually celebrating in the next straightaway of the track if you can get a pass done, which is always interesting. And Texas, not one of the most thrilling tracks to watch. It consistently gets reviews less than 70% of the time of was this race a good race, and just the viewers don't all like it that much. And one of the reasons is because it is an intermediate track, so you think there'd be more passing than there tends to be. So that's one of the reasons. And I think NASCAR, I don't know what they could do to help change this, but it's just something to look at moving forward. Just scrolling down through the bets, I found an interesting one. There's total over-under cautions for the race is 11.5. Now, like I said, hard track to pass on, so people might get bunched up and big crashes might happen. So 11.5 seems a little steep, but you see this is a track that one of the tracks that has the most cautions throughout the season. So this year, NASCAR has been pretty yellow flag happy. So I'm gonna stay away from this bet, to be clear. But I'm tending to see. Let's see if we could go over 11.5. I'm interested to see that. So that's what I have here. Let's check back into Tiger Woods. I am just curious, and then we can wrap up the pod here. Just looking at him real quick, and yeah, it looks like he is playing god awful. I see a couple double circles here, or double squares here. Sorry, double bogeys. Yeah, not looking good for him. So let's just be thankful that he's playing this week. Yeah, and just getting ready for the NASCAR race today. Drink a few beers, watch Tiger Woods and Sunday Red, and maybe take a little snooze, and then we'll be all refreshed for Texas. So thanks sticking around for the Sunday special with Dick's Picks. And yeah, we're testing around some different days that we're releasing the pods, some different strategies involved. When do you want the bets? Do you want them later? Do you want them earlier in the week? We kind of look at the bets and see where we could get the best prices at. And I think after qualifying, we're a little bit better at getting what we want. And that's all we got for you today. Thank you for joining us on Drinking and Driving. And remember, leave the drinking to the professionals. That would be us and you guys at home. But let the driving to the professionals as well. And that's the race car drivers and the Ubers. All right, peace, y'all.